Hi, my name is Ariel and welcome back to Mermaid Musings. So this video is all about the Capricorn Ascendant or rising sign in astrology. So in typical Capricorn fashion, I thought I would start this video out on a negative note. That's because Capricorn is the most negative sign of the whole zodiac. Yes, even more so than Virgo. I'm sure before you even finish watching this video, you're gonna start complaining in the comments about everything that is wrong with it. You're gonna just pick it all apart. You're probably even going to complain about me saying you're negative, which in fact just proves how negative you are. You have a very serious outlook on life. You see the world through this very adult-like lens, even from a young age. You were probably more adult-like and more serious than all your peers growing up, which can be really difficult when you're a child. I think a lot of Capricorn risings feel like you don't fit in when you're younger, because frankly, you don't. It can always feel like you're a step advanced. So when you're in kindergarten, you have the personality of a third grader, or when you're in the third grade and you feel like, oh, I finally caught up to my maturity, then you have the personality of a sixth grader, which I'm not talking about actual grades. Grades are BS, in my opinion, and have nothing to do with maturity. You just carry yourself and you see the world through a more developed lens than most people your age. When you first meet people, honestly, they might be a little bit intimidated by you because you come across as someone who's so serious, or like someone, if you say the wrong thing, that you're gonna have a negative reaction to them. You might not even be as serious as you come across depending on the rest of your natal chart. So if you aren't, it can become kind of annoying that people have such a strong reaction to you. As a Capricorn rising, your first instinct is that everyone is wrong about everything all the time, and you can't wait to complain about it. You will tell anyone who will listen in exquisite detail why everyone and everything sucks. Hilariously, then you wonder why they don't want to talk to you. This is a big part of why you aren't popular socially. And I tell you this not to be mean, but because I think a lot of you genuinely do not realize how negative you come across. Capricorn, like I said before, is the most negative sign of the whole zodiac. So when you take that and you put that negativity on your ascendant, which is how you behave unconsciously, a lot of times you aren't even conscious of how negative you can be. So you don't even fully recognize how you're coming across to other people. Everyone wants to be liked to some degree. Most people just don't want to admit it. And especially as a Capricorn rising, you have an extremely difficult time admitting when people hurt your feelings, or admitting that sometimes you want to be liked, because you kind of have this attitude, even within yourself, of I'm independent, I don't need other people, I'll be fine if everyone hates me. However, it can bum you out just like everyone else when you like someone and they don't like you back. And that all really comes down to your negativity. So if you can just work on, I don't want to say fixing that one trait, but work on improving that one trait and work on being less negative, you will find yourself a lot more popular in social circles. And guess what? When people like you, it's a lot easier to get what you want out of people, because people are willing to help you more and give you those promotions. And as a Capricorn rising, you're always trying to achieve some goal. So if you learn to work better with other people, you'll find it easier to achieve those goals. When people like you, it's much less of an uphill battle, which I know you secretly like everything being an uphill battle, but I'll get more to that later. Now, I'm not saying to completely change your automatic responses, because that would be impossible. Plus, you're not meant to change who you naturally are. But if you can learn to sometimes, when you're entering into a situation, put a positive spin on it instead of immediately thinking, here's everything that's wrong and here's why this is gonna suck. In general, your life is going to greatly improve for you. And trust me, there really are some truly great qualities to that negativity, which I'll get to in a second, so you don't want to completely get rid of that. For some of you, though, it would be helpful to learn how to soften it a bit. So here's the deal with negativity. It's not only that you push people away. The problem is when you're constantly negative, you have a hard time discerning between what's actually negative and what's actually okay or good, because your automatic reaction is to look at it as negative. When you're constantly being negative, then you're no longer being discerning, so you can no longer see what is actually wrong. And being able to see what's wrong with something is one of your gifts. So when you're negative all the time, you're sort of dulling that natural gift that you have. There's a difference between being negative and being realistic. And as a Capricorn rising, you are meant to be realistic. Your ascendant sign is the lens through which you see the world, right? So with Capricorn being there, you're not meant to be this falsely positive, wishy-washy kind of person. You're meant to be like, all right, this is how it is. I can see this clearly. And once you see it clearly, you can immediately figure out how to fix it. Being realistic sometimes means actually looking at something and being like, this is actually great, because in that situation, it is actually great. When you're turning something that's good or okay or great in your life into a negative situation, then you're actually being delusional, which I know is the opposite of what you want or how you think of yourself, because you're not delusional like woo-woo in the clouds and just love and light and all that kind of stuff, but you're still being delusional because you're not seeing the situation clearly. You're delusional because you're turning it into something it isn't. So when you're being realistic, you know how to fix everything, or you might even be able to see like the little things that are wrong and be like, well, this is good, but I know how to make it great. So don't approach it as everything is bad, but approach situations are in a way of, how can I make this situation even better? You have this gift to look at situations from this completely non-emotional, logical, detached standpoint. And because Capricorn is a cardinal sign, and cardinal signs are initiators, you're going to be the person to initiate how to fix it. You're not going to stand back and be like, well, that's what's wrong with that, but someone should get on that. No, you're like, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to fix it myself. You even have the ability to spot problems that other people don't even realize is a problem yet. You fix problems before other people recognize that the problem even exists. So if it wasn't for you, those issues would have never gotten solved, or they would have spiraled into a much bigger problem before someone else recognized it, and they would be much harder to resolve than when you solve them and you just sort of nip the problem in the bud. One of my favorite qualities about you is that you aren't afraid to just jump right in and be a hard worker. Capricorn is the hardest working sign of the whole zodiac. So when you put that on your ascendant, your first instinct is to work hard. People can easily see this. It's one of the first things that they notice about you. This gets you really far in life because people in leadership positions can tell this about you, and they immediately trust you, and they will put you in charge of responsibilities well before they'll put other people in charge of those same responsibilities. So you have the ability to sort of move up the ladder quicker in your career. They trust that you not only work hard, but that you can actually handle those responsibilities. Now, whether or not you actually can actually depends on the rest of your natal chart, but that's how people at least initially perceive you. So it helps you to get your foot in the door more quickly than other people. If you can learn to handle all the weight of that extra responsibility, then you have the potential to rise up the ranks faster in your career than even a Capricorn sun. As a Capricorn rising, you're held back more in your youth, but once you start getting into your 20s and your 30s and beyond, you're held back less than other Capricorn sign placements. As long as you've learned the lessons of a Capricorn rising. That's the key to that statement. Until you learn those lessons, you're going to be stuck in the same spot and doomed to repeat the same mistakes. That's just the way that the sign of Capricorn works. So, what are the big lessons of a Capricorn rising? Well, the first is negativity, which I already covered, and here is the second. When work comes easy for you, this can actually confuse you. Like, you don't know what to do because your first thought jumping into any situation is, oh my God, this is going to be so hard. So when it isn't, you're like, wait, what? Something must be wrong. I must be missing something. I'm doing something wrong because this isn't as difficult as I thought it would be. So then you start guessing yourself, and it takes you into a downward spiral, and it holds you back from your full potential. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Sometimes life doesn't have to be hard. Sometimes accomplishments can come to you more easily. And I know that just seems crazy to you. Just because you didn't have to work extremely hard doesn't mean that you didn't actually deserve that goal. Because for a lot of Capricorn risings, if you didn't put all your heart and your soul and your time and your energy into something, then once you receive it, you're like, I didn't earn this, and this doesn't feel fulfilling to me, and something's wrong because I don't deserve this. So then you deny yourself the joy that comes with those accomplishments because you feel like you didn't fully earn it. Or you hold yourself back because you feel like you're not ready to take that next step when you actually are. The thing about rising signs is it's the part of your personality that is with you from the moment you were born. It's always going to be with you, and it's always going to be a huge part of you, but you're meant to outgrow it in some ways as you become more of an adult and you become more of a well-rounded person. As you age and you become more of a complex and complete individual, you're growing more into the rest of your natal chart, which as you do that, you start to let some of those rising sign tendencies go, or they become a less dominant part of your personality. As you get older, not everything, but some things in life are going to start to come to you more quickly and more easily. But because of your experiences in your youth, you think that something is wrong with that when it isn't. So you make tasks more complicated and harder than they need to be, which takes up a lot of your time and energy, and then that holds you back from those big accomplishments that you eventually want to get to. Your life is supposed to get easier as you get older. So if you find that your life or things are coming to you more easily, that means you're doing something right, not that you're doing something wrong. That means that you're on the right path. So don't fight yourself and then just get in your own way. As Capricorn risings, I think it's important for you to figure out how to keep the parts of your sign placements that'll actually make you really powerful and that help you accomplish your life's dreams, but also figure out how to sort of get rid of those more negative aspects of your rising sign. Because the thing about Capricorn is it is harsh life lessons. So as an ascendant or as a Capricorn ascendant, there are more things you have to work on than your average rising sign. The reason I say this, and the reason I've been kind of more blunt and harsh with you on this video than I have in my previous rising sign videos, is because I think you need to hear it. I have seen a lot of Capricorn rising individuals who are going into their 30s and their 40s, and they are not well-rounded individuals. So what happens is they have these big ambitions in life, but they can't figure out how to get there. And the reason for that is because they are so focused on seeing life as this uphill battle that's always difficult for them. So they haven't grown as people. They're still stuck at the bottom of the hill, and they complain about it all the time instead of actually making the changes that they need to make in order to go up the hill. So as a Capricorn rising, I think it is extremely important for you to look at your other natal chart sign placements and figure out how to also channel those instead of only focusing on your Capricorn rising sign. Capricorns, it is an extremely powerful energy, so I think sometimes that is why it can dominate your personality, even though there's actually a lot more going on within you. Your life was probably a lot more difficult than the rest of your peers when you were younger, but as you grow older, it's not meant to stay that way. But a lot of you really want to continue to cling on to that mentality that you developed when you were young, so you don't allow yourself to grow. It feels more weirdly safe and comfortable to stay in this very negative, my life sucks mentality. So you choose to stay there, and then your life becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy where then your life really does suck. Yes, your Capricorn rising is a huge part of you, and it should be fully embraced. But it's not the only part of you that should be fully embraced. Channel that Capricorn energy along with everything else you have going on, and then you will be unstoppable. Sorry for being so harsh throughout this video, but as Capricorn Risings, I know that you are tough enough to take it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please do me a big favor and like and subscribe below. I have 2 more rising sign series and a lot more astrology content coming as well. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day. Bye!